Hello, everybody. All right. Parents, friends, and honored guests, I am Michael Mazzio, one of the valedictorians and proud member of the graduating class of 2018. It is my pleasure to open up Hunter College's 217th commencement. Please welcome the president of Hunter College and honored guests, followed by the faculty processional. welcome our student processional, all candidates for graduation. Candidates for doctoral, master's degrees, and advanced certificates, followed by candidates for bachelor's degrees from the schools of social work, nursing, education, health professions, and arts and sciences.
I am A. Oudeve, an Indina student, and I am pleased to welcome you here today. Now please stand for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the president of Hunter College, Jennifer J. Rabb.
And I think I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming to the stage our honorary degree recipient. Give it up for Vin Diesel. So excellent. Okay, that's an entrance. Please seated. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the 217th commencement ceremony of Hunter College. Woo! Now, I hope you have posted a selfie to all your friends, letting them know you have earned a seat at graduation, #HunterGrad. At a place like Radio City, you expect big things. But this is the biggest. Almost 2,000 graduates, all about to start a whole new chapter of your lives. Granted, it's not the red carpet opening of one of this summer's blockbusters, although you are wearing gowns. But this is a blockbuster moment for you all. Like the orphan teenager Wade Watts in Ready Player One, you too have faced invincible odds. getting into an overtally. Like the brave kids in Wrinkle in Time, you too suddenly found yourself transported to a scary and horrifying place, the middle of a FAFSA form. Like the crew in Solo Star Wars Story, you too boarded a vehicle bound for a galaxy far away, the number 6 train. And just like the humans in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you too had to overcome the merciless monster trying to destroy you. I'm talking about, of course, CUNY First. But like T'Challa in Black Panther, you rallied your forces and made it to the end, and today you are as independent as Wakanda. And like Amy Schumer in I Feel Pretty, you have come to realize how competent and beautiful you are. And at this moment, you are all as triumphant as the Avengers in Infinity War, especially our favorite Avenger of all, honorary degree recipient, Vin Diesel. As with all those summer blockbusters, there was a lot that went on behind the scenes that most of the audience did not see. Graduating does not just happen. Many of you had outside jobs. Some had 2, some had 3. You've written reams of papers and crammed for countless exams. You've run endless experiments and probably even been part of some. You've drunk barrels of coffee and eaten mountains of overpriced falafels from the guy on 68th Street. And that's not counting all the time spent just getting to and from class. Years from now, you'll look back and remember how some of the best years of your life were spent at Hunter waiting for the North Building elevators. Along the way, in the halls and in the classrooms, you met a slew of new people, including those ever-present chess players near the escalator. But at last, you've made it, here to the moment you've all been waiting for, the moment you can finally change your CUNY Hunter status on Facebook to Hunter alum. So congratulations to the class of 2008. Now, as you can see, Hunter is a place of many talents. Opening our ceremony with the national anthem was Joanna Mulazchik, who is looking forward to a career performing and teaching opera. Joanna has not neglected the books, though, graduating with a GPA of 3.9 and her master's in music. Congratulations. Now, our bagpiper, Ian Sherman, was, not surprisingly, steeped in his Catholic background. Where is our bagpiper? Come on out. Play us a few more notes. Bagpiper Ian Sherman was not surprisingly steeped in his Catholic background. But college is often a time of change, especially at Hunter, where he received his undergraduate degree in nursing. Ian discovered Judaism and began studying the Torah. Ian converted, and now he is probably the only Hasidic Jewish bagpiper in New York and possibly the world. Today, Ian gets his doctorate of nursing, the highest nursing degree. To do the honor of hooding Ian are 3 of his Hunter nursing colleagues. Ian, your example inspires Javid Iftikhar. Javid was born with a club foot in a small town in Pakistan. After 2 disastrous operations, his condition was finally corrected when he was 12. The trauma of his childhood health care inspired him to become a nurse. Javid is graduating with his master's as a psychiatric nurse practitioner and will come back to get his doctorate. Thank you, Javid. Javid, looking at your career, inspires Melinda Alvarado. Melinda became a mom at 18. Her son's respiratory issues kept her juggling work, emergency room visits, and sleepless nights as she jumped from one job to another. It was only when her mother took a serious fall on the subway and Melinda witnessed firsthand the power of nursing that she found her calling. She came to Hunter, rose to president of Nursing Association, and today, at the age of 35, with a proud 16-year-old son, Melinda graduates with her nursing degree and plans to follow Javi to be a nurse practitioner. And Melinda, your example inspires Destiny Laura, who had a comfortable life in the Dominican Republic until her father was tragically killed in neighboring Haiti when the earthquake hit. The decimated family sought a fresh start moving to New York. Destiny struggled, but she made it, graduating with a BA in psychology, a GPA of 3.5, and she's going to come back to finish her nursing degree this fall. So congratulations, Ian, Destiny, Javid. Thank you. Thank you. Now, it's clear that Hunter students come from all over the world. More than 150 countries traveled across oceans to be with us today. We have families here from 5 continents representing many nations. According to Hunter's Geography Department, the people traveling furthest to get here today are Linda Johannes' mother and cousin coming from Kenya, over 7,000 miles away. To them we say, Kabrihu, welcome. Linda has lived a truly international life. Born in Ethiopia, educated in France, she plans to go to graduate school in Germany. So her family's from all over the world, and they're here today. So to her aunt from Jordan, we say, Marhaban, auntie. And another aunt from Ethiopia, Akwanda Namataj, welcome to you all. Ina Kima's parents have arrived from Albania for the big event. To them we say, Urima, congratulations. Omar Ullah's mother, father, and husband have come all the way from Israel to see her graduate. Baruch Habim to you, and Yasha Koach to your graduate. And in a very 2018 story, Shinjba Kaur and her stepbrother and stepsister are as close as they can be thanks to social media. But the step-siblings traveled here from Morocco, not just to support Sabia today, but to finally meet her in person. So for them we say, Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. And welcome to everyone here, whether you came from Senegal, or all the way from Staten Island. Now, speaking of families, Hunter is very much a family affair. In 1958, Eva Cooper wore her Hunter cap and gown as a Hungarian immigrant, grateful to be graduating from an American college. Eva survived her childhood in Budapest by hiding from the Nazis, kept alive by brave Hungarians willing to risk their lives to hide Jews in their homes. Today, Eva is here celebrating her 60th Hunter graduation anniversary by proudly watching her granddaughter, Jamie Cooper, get her Hunter degree. Congratulations to the Cooper. Elizabeth and Jerry Wlodarczyk fled communist Poland in the 1970s, and as new immigrants, each worked their way through Hunter College, where they met, married, and graduated in 1984. Their love story has a happy ending, as today they proudly celebrate their daughter, Otilia's Hunter graduation. She graduates with a 3.8 GPA as an econ major and will work in private equity, while she proudly supports her Polish heritage by attending language school and interning at the Polish Foreign Ministry. Congratulations to all our Hunter families. And Hunter students know what it's like to endure long lines at the bookstore, and even, as we said, longer waits for elevators. Unfortunately, we don't give out a degree in endurance. If we did, it would go to our scholar athletes. 3 of our top scholar athletes will continue to focus on the human body, but not on the playing field. Vera Pertsovsaka, a 7-time CUNY All-Star, holds the CUNY record for the indoor mile. While she was a member of 5 conference champion teams, she also managed to teach an art class, conduct lab research, and volunteer in a geriatric emergency department, while earning a 3.7 in her double major of German and biology. Vera will go on to medical school. So will the captain of the Hunter wrestling team, Nicholas Brutus. Now, Nick was named an all-star state wrestler in 2016, but Nick had to wrestle with something else. his life priorities when he had to decide between missing a major biochemistry test or competing in the NCAA Regional Championships, the most important meet of the year. Nick chose to take the test, a decision that helps explain his 3.5 GPA and should stand him in good stead on his medical school applications. Vera and Nick can get some advice on that score from Philip Korituski. Now, Philip was born in Russia and came here as a baby with his mom after his dad died. He joined a city program that provided free tennis lessons for public school kids, and he came to Hunter already a tennis star. He was awarded Rookie of the Year. But this tennis star player studied as hard as he served, majoring in chemistry with a minor of history and earning a GPA of 3.99. So this year, this past year, Phil was the captain of our tennis team, but next year he will trade his tennis racket for a stethoscope as he begins studies at the University of Rochester Medical School. His tennis teammate will be cheering him on from afar. Florimond Le Goupil-Mayer had an amazing 30-10 singles record while maintaining a GPA of 3.8 in public policy and at the same time becoming fluent in Chinese. Flo will be in China next year, perfecting his Mandarin. Congratulations to all our Hunter athletes. Woo! Graduates, so many people make this day, special day possible. In particular, there are two groups we should recognize. First, the phenomenal faculty of Hunter College. Woo! As their students, you know them as brilliant writers, researchers, and teachers. More than that, you know them as mentors and friends. Let's ask our faculty to stand so we can give them a round of applause. For some of our students, the Hunter faculty are not just mentors, but also role models, inspiring their students to follow their lead and go on to become professors. We know that some of you here today will be back to teach the next generation of Hunter students. Our anthropology department will be quick to recruit back Elena Adesheva-Klein, who graduates with a 3.97 once she finishes her PhD in cultural anthropology at Yale. Elena grew up in a small town in the Ukraine and will return to this former Soviet Union to study reindeer in Siberia. The chemistry department is bubbling at the prospect of hiring back Evelyn de los Reyes, a prestigious McNulty scholar, if she isn't busy curing cancer. Evelyn, who came to America from the Philippines when she was just 5, majored in biochemistry with a minor in math and a 3.9 GPA. She has been accepted into six PhD programs and chose Weill Cornell, where she will get her PhD in pharmacology. But she's not the only one with 6 PhD options. Our English and Spanish departments may have to battle it out for Lindsay Griffiths, a Hunter Macaulay and McNulty scholar with a 3.9 GPA, who graduates with double majors in English and Spanish. For her English degree, she researched African American slave narratives. For her Spanish degree, she translated a book called Burp, yes, Burp, from Spanish to English. Of the 6 schools vying for Lindsay, daughter of Jamaican immigrants, she chose Princeton, where she will get her English PhD starting this fall. Our biology department has its eye, and maybe its tentacles, on Emily Lau, a double anthropology and chemistry major who has a 3.95 GPA and received a 5-year National Science Foundation fellowship to the University of California, Santa Barbara, where she will get her PhD in ecology, evolution, and marine biology. Congratulations, Emily. And our students would be lucky if someday they're in a class taught by Jair Morare, who graduates with a 3.9 GPA. Jair came here from Ecuador at the age of 14. which inspired his interest in immigrants, the study he will go on to study as a political science PhD candidate at the University of Illinois. Congratulations to all our future faculty. So graduates, as you know so well, it's family and friends, parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, siblings, kids, mentors, who are the wind beneath your wings and your graduation caps. So graduates, I'm going to ask you to stand up, turn around, and give your loved ones your deepest thanks. You could not have done it without them. Thank you. You can be seated. Thank you. I'll ask you to seat. Thank you. Now, for some of you, starting a new family while you were students has added joy, but even more challenges. So while thanking our parents, we also salute all the new moms and dads and grandparents in our graduating class. Mothers like Sylvia Bakhtor. Sylvia arrived as a newlywed from Egypt, knowing she wanted to be a nurse. But when her daughter was born, with no family around to help and no money for childcare, she could only take one class a semester. On school nights, she would meet her husband in the subway station, pass him the milk bottle and the 9-month-old. But when she had her second daughter and her first child started to have seizures, her grades plummeted. She was in danger of failing, but her professors said they'd give her one last chance. So Sylvia's great husband took off 3 straight weeks so she could study. She passed, and she graduates today after 6 years of great success with her degree in nursing and 2 healthy daughters. Now, both Brunilda Bartlett's mother and daughter rely on her support, which she lovingly provides while working full-time and attending our Silverman School of Social Work. She is the sole caregiver for a mother who has cancer, sadly, a disease she has battled herself. So Brunilda was calm when her son-in-law called her in a panic from the road and said, "Come downstairs, I'm in the car, the baby's coming." Now talk about fast and furious. They raced to the apartment a few blocks away where Brunilda found her daughter's contractions coming 20 seconds apart. Our nurses know they called 911, but the baby wasn't waiting. So Brunilda delivered the baby herself. Matthew, Hunter class of 2039, we hope. Okay. Hunter is proud to recruit and support our veterans, and even prouder to graduate them. We say an official thank you to all our student veterans. That includes Hector Rene Membreno Canales. Hector and his mom came to America from Honduras when Hector was 4. His senior year of high school, they both became American citizens, inspiring Hector to enlist in the Army. He rose from truck driver to official photographer, recording U.S. military history as it happened, from Iraq to El Salvador to Poland. The military experience influenced his photography at Hunter, including work on the destruction of Confederate monuments. Hector is still in the reserves and has served his country for 11 years. Today, he gets his Master's of Fine Arts and begins a new job as the photography teacher at the prestigious Phillips Andover Academy in Massachusetts. Congratulations, Hector. Samantha Ruiz grew up in East Harlem and joined the Navy in May of 2001. When the Twin Towers fell just a few months later, she found herself deployed off the coast of Iraq in the Gulf of Oman. For 14 years, she worked as a mechanical engineer, keeping the valves and boilers shipshape on an aircraft carrier the size of 4 football fields, and eventually teaching legions of sailors how to do the same. She left the service in 2014, but from her own post-service emotions, she realized our vets were not getting the support they deserve. Today, Samantha gets her bachelor's in sociology so she can go on to be a social worker, making sure all vets successfully readjust to civilian life. We salute Samantha, Hector, and all of our veterans for their service. Now I am pleased to welcome the representative of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, Ken Sunshine, who brings us the board's greetings. Trustee Sunshine is a wonderful example for Hunter students, particularly the ones of you who can't decide which of your passions to follow, because Ken demonstrates how you can have two highly successful careers. Trustee Sunshine's first job out of Cornell was working with troubled teens, which inspired him to go into government and politics. He helped get David Dinkins elected and served as his chief of staff in City Hall, where one of the people he supervised was an up-and-coming young man named Bill de Blasio. Combining his political skills with his interest in show business, he entered a second field, public relations, attracting major clients like Barbra Streisand. Today, Trustee Sunshine is one of the most admired and respected communications experts in the nation, called for advice by everyone from political candidates to rock stars. He continues his commitment to public service through his work on the CUNY board. Ken, please step forward. Before you address the class of 2018, there are two graduates who will follow you into public service who have something for you to remember this day. Nicole Kristall is the daughter of Russian immigrants who fled government oppression. But growing up in this country, Nicole saw the good that government can do and is now committed to a public life in public service. After assisting her professor on a book about Mayor de Blasio, she won the prestigious Watson Award for Leadership and graduates with a 3.95 and was selected for the competitive New York City Urban Fellows Program. Joining her is Hector Hernandez. When Hector Hernandez was arrested for grand theft auto at age 16, he vowed that if he could avoid jail, he would turn his life around. And he did both. Today, he graduates with his MSW from our Silberman School of Social Work, committed to helping teens just like you did, Trustee Sunshine. And I think you have something you want to come forward with. And celebrating your second career and hoping you will have some advice for them are media students Karan Chachalanani and Leah Drayton. Karan was 8 when his family moved from Mumbai to Queens. He adjusted to a new culture and became an econ major at Hunter. But internships at Viacom and A&E hooked him on media relations, which he will pursue at Disney after he graduates with a 3.85 GPA from the Hunter Macaulay program. Joining him is Leah Drayton, whose family comes from the Caribbean. She is dedicated to advancing the voices of women in her community, working in the East Harlem community, and with many communications internships, she mirrors, Ken, your career. With her 3.98 GPA and her plans to go to journalism school, we are confident that Leah will be a Ken Sunshine-like success. So please join me in celebrating this next generation of Ken Sunshines and welcoming CUNY trustee Ken Sunshine.
Well, the best part of all this is hearing the stories of the students. Good afternoon, President Rabb, Vice Chancellor Sapienza, honorary degree recipient Mark Sinclair Vincent, AKA Vin Diesel, distinguished members of the faculty, families, friends, and most importantly you, the graduating class of 2018. My heartfelt congratulations to you. I'm honored to be here on behalf of the Board of Trustees of CUNY to celebrate your academic achievements. We are extremely proud, and you should be very proud of yourselves. Graduates, because of your hard work, sacrifice, and commitment, today we receive a priceless degree from one of the nation's foremost public universities. Today is a tremendous accomplishment, and I suspect you're feeling overjoyed. I remember that feeling sitting in your seats many, many years ago. It's very special. Stay with you forever. Give thanks to your family, friends, faculty, all those who helped you guide you along the way. Cherish all these experiences and knowledge you have gained at this magnificent institution under the leadership of a truly extraordinary public servant, Jennifer Rabb. Today you have reached the finish line, but you're also poised at the start of the next chapter of your lives. As you look to the future, my advice is to be bold and dream big. Be agents of change, make the world better for the next generation, starting right here in New York. Engage your community, speak up for those who cannot, serve your city and your fellow New Yorkers with pride and integrity. Many of you were born in countries from around the world. We New Yorkers embrace our diversity, celebrate our differences, and know that America's strength lies in welcoming new immigrants. CUNY has never and will never join the anti-American call to deport, to bar, to stigmatize. But if I leave you with one very special and very simple action plan, I challenge every friend, every family member, casual acquaintance, even people you don't know, make them exercise their most privileged right as an American, the power to vote. No excuses. No, they make it so hard. It's not hard. Many died to gain the right to vote. It is the very essence of our social contract. There are many more who agree with a real New Yorker's embrace of diversity and inclusion, not exclusion and stigmatizing immigrants. But please, please never fail to exercise the simple power of the ballot box. We expect great things from all of you. I have no doubt that each has the talent and the passion to change this crazy, crazy world. On behalf of all of CUNY, I extend my sincere hope for a very successful future. Much congratulations, class of 2018.
Graduates of the class of 2018, first let's just say Ken Sunshine has been a great friend to Hunter College on the board, so just one more round of applause. So graduates of the class of 2018, we, the faculty and administration of Hunter College, are deeply proud of you. After challenging yourselves with years of hard work and dedication, you have truly earned this degree. As we celebrate you and say goodbye, I ask all of you to remember what Hunter has given to you and to commit yourself in some way to the Hunter motto. You have seen those 3 Latin words that encircle our logo, mihi cura futuri, the care of the future is mine. Today, I ask you to take those words into your hearts as you leave us. Thomas Hunter, an Irish immigrant, created Hunter College 148 years ago to train young women to become teachers. He believed in his obligation to the future. Hunter remains true to that tradition. You sit here today, poised to celebrate your graduation because our society cared deeply about your future and ensured that you had the opportunity to earn a college degree and expand your intellectual horizons. Hunter has prepared you for the future. We have given you the tools to realize the extraordinary in yourselves. There are hundreds of extraordinary stories dressed in caps and gowns today. Let me tell you about a few of them and how they will care for the future. Benjamin Crusenberry is extraordinary. He hails from a place that is very exotic to us New Yorkers, at least Nebraska. Knowing about Hunter's great record in volleyball, Ben wanted to move here to be on the team. He came to the big city with big dreams, but adjusting to New York was much harder than he expected. By sophomore year, Ben stopped going to classes and working out. His athletic skills plummeted, along with his GPA, which fell to 2.0. He was thrown off his beloved volleyball team and went home to Nebraska. But after working at a Buffalo Wild Wings for a while, Ben determined this was not where his story would end. He started taking online classes to get his grades up, and next semester he came back to the city for a second try. As they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And Ben did. He got a 4.0 in his classes and led his volleyball team to great success. This year, the Hunter volleyball team not only won the CUNYAC championships, but went all the way to the NCAA state finals, which is a great victory. This championships and his high grades earned Ben a scholarship to Durham University in England this fall, where he will get his master's degree in economics and play on the volleyball team. Let's hear it for this true comeback kid. Alicia Baksha Usman is extraordinary. Alicia came to the United States as a teen with her mother, who was escaping a violent marriage in Trinidad. Her dreams for an American education were dashed when she became pregnant at 17. Forced to put off college so she could support her daughter, she worked 7 days a week at a Midtown deli. Things looked up when she met the man of her dreams, got married, and enrolled at Hunter. But tragically, her husband died at the end of her first year at Hunter. He was only 38. Alicia took 2 weeks off, and her loyal deli customers asked for her. When they heard about her husband's passing, they were heartbroken. This included the guy who came in every morning for his egg sandwich and a peach Snapple, a man named John Doyle, who happened to work at the New York Real Estate Board across from the deli. When Alicia came back to work, John told her the board's receptionist was retiring. Would Alicia consider taking the job? Alicia started out at the reception desk, but soon was working in accounts receivable. She changed her major to accounting despite working full-time and raising her daughter alone. Then she started running Hunter's volunteer income tax assistant program, personally recruiting and training 97 volunteers. She became president of our accounting society and got a job in the accounting department at Columbia Presbyterian. She graduates today with a GPA of 3.65 and a job waiting for her at Cohen Resnick, one of the largest accounting firms. Now here to see her graduate is her proud daughter, Annalisa, a straight-A student who will soon become the second generation in Alicia's family to go to college. Also cheering her on with a special drink is John Doyle, a special fan, the customer who gave her, the receptionist, the job that changed her life. A true life New York star. The things that happen at the deli. Fernando Ibanez is extraordinary. Fernando grew up sharing a single room with his mom in rural Brazil. Kindly neighbors gave him clothing and books as his mom could not afford them. But rather than studying hard, Fernando devoted himself to playing in a heavy metal rock band. But then he decided to change his life. He prepared for a special test to get into the best university in Sao Paulo, and out of 3,000 students, Fernando scored number 11. He got a scholarship to study biology. But as much as he loved learning, he couldn't bear living in a culture that didn't accept him as a gay man. So he made the decision to leave for freedom of America. As Fernando put it, I traded books and pipettes in a renowned university for a spatula and a headset at McDonald's. He worked at Starbucks too and a Radio Shack, learning English and taking some courses along the way. When he arrived in New York, he applied to Hunter and settled in East Harlem. There, Fernando was shocked to see so many people in wheelchairs suffering from obesity, amputations, diabetes, and even gunshot wounds. Fernando vowed to make his neighbors' lives better, just as his neighbors in Brazil had done for him and his mom. Today, This gay Brazilian country boy graduates with a GPA of 3.9 in medical lab sciences and even better, and leaves to begin his next chapter at Brown University School of Medicine and will care for the future as a doctor for the underserved. Fernando, felicidades. And Annalise Feinstein is extraordinary, a gifted artist, a comic book fanatic, and a violinist since age 5. But on a mother-daughter trip when she was just 11, she fell off her bike and plunged 20 feet down a mountain. An ambulance and a helicopter ride later, she was fighting for her life in intensive care. She remained in a coma for a month on life support. When she came to, she suffered pneumonia, a collapsed lung, seizures. Her right side was completely paralyzed, and her eyesight, the news was not good. The girl who had been drawing dragons and demons since age 3 was now legally blind. But Annalise did not give up. She loved art and music and life too much. With intensive therapy, she learned to walk and talk again. Gradually, holding the paper very close, she started to draw again and to play her beloved violin. Almost exactly a year after the accident, she was released from the hospital, and having missed all of 7th grade, she sat for her school's 8th grade exam, where she scored at the 12th grade level. She started teaching her violin at a music school and found her calling. When Annalise was in the hospital, the doctor had been frank to her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Feinstein, they said, "You are just going to have to accept that the daughter who was born to you no longer exists." Her mother replied, "I understand you are a professional, but my daughter is not only going to walk out of this hospital, she's going to play a violin concerto."
Quickly, the piece I am about to perform is called Sarabande by a man named Carl Bohm.
Annalise will graduate with a scholarship from the Lighthouse for the Blind. She's getting her master's in early child ed and will open an art school for children. Congratulations. And now, as you leave, we ask you to honor what Hunter has given to you by giving back to your community. Some of you will go on to be lawyers, like Hunter Macaulay grad Emily Losi, a major in math with a 3.9 GPA, who will hone her love of proofs in a new context at the University of Pennsylvania Law School. Some of you will go on to test your computer science skills, like Hunter Macaulay grad Brian Hernandez, who interned at AOL and will join JP Morgan as a tech analyst. Some of you will turn your love of sports into a profession, like Alexandra Bobas Rubiano, one of the most decorated swimmers in Hunter history. Alex led the Hunter to 3 CUNYAC champions, was named Outstanding Senior in Metropolitan Conference, and holds Hunter records in 10 events. Lucky for us, she will return to Hunter as a swim coach in September. Her fellow athlete, track star Yvonne Chow, decided to follow her love of graphic design instead and will go on to get her master's at Pratt. Daughter of Chinese immigrants, a geography and media major with a 3.9 GPA and a Hawkapella singer, Yvonne redesigned the student government logo. She also designed a signage campaign to improve subway behavior as her honors project. How's that going, Yvonne? Sharing Yvonne's commitment to effective public policy is sociology major, human rights and public policy minor, Juan Diaz, who came to America from Ecuador when he was 12. Juan leads a criminal justice reform initiative, is passionate about immigrant rights, and graduates today at 39 with his 6-year-old son proudly looking on. Now, Juan has a tough choice about whether to get his master's in public affairs at Hunter or Baruch, and I heard he was leaning the other way. So Juan, we hope this generous surprise scholarship to Hunter helps you make the right decision. Some of you will follow our founder, Thomas Hunter, into the noble profession of teaching, like Macaulay Hunter psychology major, Shamir Cumberbatch, who graduates with a 3.7 GPA and was accepted into the prestigious Teach for America program. Ashley Ufrit, who was inspired to become a teacher after she was severely injured in a hit-and-run accident 8 years ago and told she might never work again. After 5 long surgeries and a recovery, Ashley gets her master's in education today with a perfect 4.0 and will care for the future as a bilingual teacher. Some of you will make your impact as social workers, like Christine Decker, who suffered during the Civil War in Sierra Leone, only to come to New York to face homelessness and poverty. Through her courage and faith, Christine persevered to get her MSW with a 3.85 GPA and will devote her career to helping others experiencing the trauma of a war. Christine is an inspiration to Coley Wilson and Emily Foreman, who today become 2 of the first Hunter students to get a new degree, the Bachelor's of Social Work. Emily will combine her experience working with foster care families with her talent as a rare female gamer as she enters the CUNY School of Journalism track in social justice. Although Coley struggled to balance school with her obligations as a mom and grandmom to get her BSW at 45, she graduates today with a 3.7 GPA and will return to Silberman for her social work master's. Congratulations. Joining Kali at Silberman for her master's in social work will be Amar Sharif, an advocate for LGBTQ youth with disabilities. Amar was born with spina bifida and is the outspoken president of Hunter's Disability Awareness Club. Nothing stops Amar, who is a rower and a skier. She graduates with a BA in psychology and will use her social work degree to help other LGBT people with disabilities succeed. Some of you are motivated by personal loss to find cures for diseases, like Ariel Block, who was adopted from China at 8 months old by a single mom. Tragically, her mom got cancer, and Ariel left Hunter as a sophomore to care for her. After she lost her mom, Ariel committed herself to discovering a cure for this dreaded disease. She interned with her mother's doctor. Now she will work as a researcher at Memorial Sloan Kettering while she applies to medical school. And I know your mom is so proud. Some of you will go on to spread the love of dance as teachers and in many other walks of life. Deanna Feldman is a talented dancer, Bronx Elementary School dance teacher, and choreographer. Let's see her in action. Now, soon after she receives her MA from the Arnhold Dance Education Program, Deanna will add the letters MOM to her title because she's expecting in September. Now, Max Yoffe may team up with you, Deanna, and your little one if he can get time away from his new job as a software engineer at Bloomberg. When Max is not ballroom dancing or teaching dance to nursery school kids, Max is a Hunter Macaulay computer science major with minors in geography and math, a 3.9 GPA, who finished college in 3 years. Deanna, Muse scholar Sapna Poonj, knows what it's like to have a dance teacher as a mom, which led her to start our first Indian dance club at Hunter. Sapna minored in dance, but majored in her other love, chemistry, and will go on to be a dentist and starts dental school at NYU in September, our dancing dentist. Now, all our dancers will rely on Hunter's talented physical therapists like Allison Benson to stay limber and healthy. Allison is the physical therapy class president who focuses on helping people with multiple sclerosis. She gets her doctorate of physical therapy today, and we're going to ask Deanna, Max, and Sapna to drape your doctoral hood. Congratulations. Good work, dancers. Okay, congratulations, Allison, and our dancers. And finally, some of you, we hope, actually won't go on, like Ariel Jankowitz, who works as a social media whiz in our alumni office. He is also graduating with his Master's of Social Science Research, but we're trying to make sure that Ariel stays here at Hunter so all of you can become happy, connected alums. Congratulations, Ariel. Like your classmates, each of you has an extraordinary story. Each of you has lived the Hunter dream. Many of you came to this country not knowing the language or the customs. Most of you struggled through financial difficulties and family and work obligations to finish college. Our hope is that each of you will commit yourself to Hunter's motto in whatever path you choose. In saying goodbye, graduates, we ask you to remain connected to Hunter by our commitment to care for the future of our great city and great country. Congratulations, graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce our honorary degree recipient and commencement speaker, international movie star. It is your ex. All right, I got a lot to say, so you're gonna get done. And former Hunter student, Mark Sinclair Vinson, AKA Vin Diesel. Vin, you are clearly very proud that you attended Hunter, and so are we. In fact, we love it, don't we, the class of 2018? Your rise to movie stardom after a slow, struggling start was fast and furious. You have starred in a series of blockbuster films, including one with the largest international release of all time. You have excelled as an actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. You have your own production organization and your own video game company. Some of the lines you've delivered still get quoted, for example. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. Your success as a giant in the entertainment field is an amazing part of your life. We honor you today for this achievement and equally for the less well-known parts of your life. We honor you because you are a son of Hunter College, and your story is the Hunter story. You conquered adversity, you stayed the course, and you made it. Like so many of our students, your life wasn't always easy. Born in California, you were the son of a mixed marriage and never met your biological father. Your mom, Dolores Sinclair, who is with us today, let's give a shout out to his great mom. She brought you and your twin brother to New York City, where you grew up in the Westbeth Artist Housing in Greenwich Village, going to public schools, and like so many New York kids, getting into a little mischief. At age 7, you and some pals broke into a local theater, but you got caught by the theater's director. That turned out to be a stroke of luck, though, because instead of turning you over to the police, she turned you on to acting and gave you a part in her play called Dinosaur Door. It was a small start, but you were hooked. And it helped a lot that your new stepfather, Irving Vincent, was a theater manager, acting instructor, and professor of playwriting at our sister school, Brooklyn College. I know he's here today, so I'm going to say thanks to you. You came to Hunter to study theater and English as Mark Sinclair Vincent. Like many students, you juggled your studies with jobs as an actor, a street performer, a break dancer, and a nightclub bouncers. Now, we all know that bouncers never use their real names, so you called yourself Vin from your last name. But your friends called you Diesel because you were so full of energy, you seemed to be propelled by diesel fuel. And that's how a legend was born. Street performing was a big part of your life in those days. You seemed to like breakdancing as much as you liked breaking open the books. Watch those moves.
You can never be weak. Get on the mic and let me hear you speak. Shaw. I'm Curtis Blow, I'm the king and I'm the best, y'all. And I'll tell you what.
After 3 years as a Hunter student, you left for Hollywood. Unfortunately, the movie showed little interest in an unknown mixed-race actor, so you took charge of your life by writing, producing, directing, and starring in your own movie. It was called Multifacial, and it told the story of a struggling actor who keeps getting told he's too black or too white to get the job, or he's not black enough or white enough for the role. Your luck changed when Steven Spielberg saw Multifacial and liked it so much that he wrote a role for you in Saving Private Ryan. Private Ryan was nominated for the Best Picture Oscar, and you were nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award, and your career was on its way. And what a career it's been. Let's hear it from everyone who loves Vin and Fast and Furious. Xander Cage in the Riddick series, and for your voiceovers for the Iron Giant and Groot the Superhero Tree. Your films have repeatedly been nominated for awards, and you yourself have taken home nearly a dozen. You're a successful screenwriter, which we're going to chalk up to your studies in creative writing at Hunter. You are also a dedicated family man, father of 4, and you are deeply loyal to those you love. On the screen, we see you forging friendships with fellow actors like the late Paul Walker, and the reason it's so convincing is that it reflects the down-to-earth, warm-hearted person you really are. We see that caring spirit in the causes you support, like the need for diversity in bone marrow donations, funding the delivery of meals to the housebound in the Westbeth complex where you grew up, or providing relief after the hurricane in Puerto Rico. And we see it in the causes closest to your heart, the foundation you launched to help struggling kids make careers in filmmaking. And on top of all that, you own what has to be one of the coolest car collections in the world. Then, you have proved that a smart, determined kid from the streets of New York can think his way to the top. You are a loving partner, a devoted father, and a loyal friend, and you've never forgotten where you come from. You have brought honor to the college you attended, which is pleased to present you at long last with a degree. Now, here to drape you with your academic hood, are two students who today receive their MFAs in the arts, inspired by your persistence and dedication to success as an artist. Like your movie alter ego, Dom Toretto, Christopher Wilson, where's Chris, spent much of his life behind a wheel. Chris was the type of long-distance truck driver your Fast and Furious gang was known to ambush in those incredible car chase scenes. But while trucking was his job for 20 years, playwriting was his secret passion. On one long-distance trip, he read Ibsen out loud to his co-driver, who told Chris he had to go back to school and do something in the theater. Chris did, and today he graduates at the age of 47 with an MFA in playwriting. Joining him to drape the hood is Andy Van Din, who is the son of Vietnamese refugees who fled to Canada during the war. Andy has won many awards for his paintings, including being selected to hang his work in a major new office building. He receives his MFA in studio art today, and no one here will forget his art, one, because it's unforgettable, and the other is because our Andy Van Din's Canadian nickname is actually Van Diesel. Go figure. Come on up, Andy. You'll stand in the middle of them, okay. Now we're going to bring up to your honorary degree with two students who will follow you into filmmaking. Connie Sun Young Young, who graduates with a 3.9 GPA and a film already recognized in the CUNY Film Festival. And Slade Koval, a Hunter Macaulay Honors student with a 3.9 GPA, who has acted and stage managed at Brooklyn's Children's Theater and will be working at HBO producing documentaries. Now, Vin, they are joined, stay up here, guys, come on. They are joined by Craig Spencer, who, like you, started out as an aspiring, if struggling, New York actor. Just like you, Craig left college to pursue his passion and found creative ways to support himself, including DJing and working on projects with Madonna and RuPaul. But watching his mother fight cancer changed Craig's life. He was so moved by the quality of care, he decided on a career change to nursing. He graduates today at 52 with a GPA of 4.0 in psychology and will be back to finish his Hunter degree. Now, finally, coming down to direct this hooding is our own Dr. Claudia Orenstein. Now, Vin, you may just recognize Claudia Orenstein. She's a professor in our renowned theater department. But Claudia appeared with you all those many years ago when you were a 7-year-old actor in Dinosaur Door. She was in the same production. But don't worry, she says you look different too. All right, now we have the hood. Come on, students, come around. So we surprised him. Vin Diesel, in accordance.
It was a good show.
All right, help with the, come the students, come help. Now, Vin Diesel, with the authority vested in me by law and the actions of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctors of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. Now, Dr. Diesel or Dr. Sinclair Vincent, please address your fellow graduates. Congratulations.
Wow. I didn't realize that this was going to be This Is Your Life. I never thought it would happen to me. I was just joking. I was saying, could you write my speech? And you did. You literally, she said, there's nothing else for me to say. Except how incredibly proud I am to be graduating with all of you and being honored with all of you. It may have taken me 50 years, but we all got there. We all got there. And this is New York City. You know, while I was in Hollywood, I always had this pride of Hunter College. I would tell everybody that I learned and took so much away from my experience at Hunter College. I was young. I was a New York City bouncer. But when I wasn't bouncing, I was in these classrooms with the most diverse student body on the planet. Something I took with me to Hollywood and created, I'll take all of you to Hollywood, and created One Race Films. And the idea for One Race Films was that people didn't have to check off boxes anymore. When I was a young actor, I was an actor at a time when people that looked like me couldn't get roles. Nobody was hiring a multicultural kid. You can imagine a movie like Glory. Who are they going to hire you to play? Denzel's part or Matthew Broderick's part? The world wasn't ready for it yet. And I guess that kind of leads me to the only advice I can give you. I've been sitting there and listening to all of your accomplishments with pride. I've been hearing the stories and so proud of you all. And I'm thinking, what else can I say to these heroes of tomorrow? What else can I say to these world leaders that my children will rely on? Because that's what's going to happen. I'm looking at people that my children's future will depend on. My children's future will depend on you superheroes. You who have been armed here with knowledge and awareness to combat whatever comes in the future. In my time, it was just about, because I was born in 1967, you might have heard of something called Loving versus Virginia, but in 1967, it was still illegal for whites and non-whites to love each other. So when I was born, my mom had to leave the town that she was in, and she came to New York with my twin brother and I, and we were 6 months old. And she went to stay with a guy in a place called Washington Heights. ¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que? But unfortunately, 3 months after being there, he was arrested, and she had to get on the subway and go to Brooklyn. And there she had us in Brooklyn. No family here. She left an abusive family in California. And I mean, she's been such a hero to me. She's here tonight. My mother's here tonight. I'm just so thankful she didn't have an abortion, Mom. Thank you so much. But I remember she wasn't able to complete college because of her life at that time. And when I was attending Hunter College, she was also going to Cooney College, and I remember her graduating at 50 years old. And I remember how proud I was that my mother had graduated at Cooney College at 50 years old. I went out to California a few years after of being in Hunter College, and I thought that I was going to get out to California, and I had been acting, as you heard, since 7 years old, and I thought that I was going to come out to Hollywood, and they were going to say, "Oh my God, we've never seen anything like him since Robert De Niro, sign him up." And a year and a half went by, and I couldn't even get an agent. And so I had to come back to the bouncing job in New York City with my tail between my legs, and all the bouncers were saying, "Oh, I thought you were going to be a big movie star." And I had to sleep on couches, and I had to come up with another way. I knew my destiny, and I had to come up with another way. And so I took, as was said earlier, the skills that I learned at Hunter College, the creative writing, and I created my own opportunity. I was standing on this stage last year with the film that hit $1 billion faster than any other film in history, Fast 8. And I was so proud to be standing on stage at Radio City Music Hall, where, you know, my father used to take me to see shows when I was a kid, and such a New Yorker, and I'm standing here, and I was proud then. But I got to tell you, I am so much more proud now to be amongst you. I'm just this lucky kid from New York. I've gotten stars on the Walk of Fame of hands and feet and accolades, and I'm so much more proud to be with you. Hunter College is it. Hunter College, this isn't a college where, my mother was just saying this, you don't have to pay $100,000 a year to get an education. We can overcome anything. You learn that here and you take it into the world, and then you can look at Hollywood and change the face of Hollywood. You can literally change the face of Hollywood because willingness to fight. Every person that graduates Hunter College has a story. Every person that graduates Hunter College is declaring that they wanted an education and that they want a better life and they want to make a better world. I'm so, so, so proud of you. My only little small advice is, if you don't see it out there, create it. And any obstacle that the world that comes at you or comes at our planet, be willing to create that remedy. Be willing to create that solution. Address it. Hit it head on. Create your own opportunity if need be. I am so proud to be with you. I'm hearing I'm sitting down and hearing GPAs of 3.9, 3 GPA. I mean, like, GPAs, guys, you guys are incredible. I'm so proud to be here, and I will continue to go around the world and talk about our Hunter College. This melting pot of talent and culture, how beautiful it is. We are tomorrow. I love you. Thank you.
Wow, that was something. Let's just hear it one more time for Dr. Diesel. Now, Dr. Diesel, speaking of awards and speaking of Radio City Music Hall, there are going to be the Tonys here this Sunday. And there'll be a lot of big names on stage, but nobody compared to our Hunter winners, a pair of students who came out on top in the most selective academic competitions. Victoria Di Tommaso, a Hunter Macaulay student with a 3.8 GPA, won the Fulbright Research Grant, a highly selective award that will take her to Germany to do research on failed stars. That's a thing. But this award that Victoria gets is the opposite of a failed star. After her Fulbright, our Victoria will go on to get her PhD in astrophysics at Harvard. Yes, our own rocket scientist. Congratulations, Victoria. And speaking of stars, Victoria's very dear friend, Tamara Jean, is celebrating too. Tamara's parents came here from Haiti, searching for the American dream. Her father got a job as a janitor at the synagogue in Old Mill Basin, a synagogue that still lets her church worship there on Sundays. While Tamara never doubted she'd go to college, she had no idea how she'd manage to get there or where she'd go. When she got to Hunter, the world opened up to her in areas as diverse as political science, media, and gender studies. And in January, Tamara Jean became the first student in Hunter's 148-year history to win the Rhodes Scholarship. This is a scholarship that Tamara Jean never even heard of, which is on a continent she's never been to. More than 2,500 students apply for the Rhodes, but each year only 32 win it. Over the years, this group has included Rachel Maddow and Bill Clinton, and now it will include our own Tamara, who has already been interviewed with Bill Gates. Next year, Tamara will take her very first trip across the Atlantic to study political science on the full Rhodes Scholarship to the oldest and most prestigious university in the English-speaking world, Oxford. Let's hear it for Tamara Jean. Is our senator here? He's here. Come on out. He's there. Okay. Senator Schumer. Where is he? All right. So we have the pleasure today of being joined by a very special friend to Hunter in New York and in Washington, the tireless Senate Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer truly represents us and is always championing the CUNY system. Time prohibits us from listing all his accomplishments, but we do want to say a special thank you to Senator Schumer for his national leadership in support of DACA and immigration reform, which would allow so many Hunter students, our dreamers, to work and study without fear. Senator, you have work to help us to do for students like Abel Cantos. Abel was born in Ecuador and brought to the U.S. undocumented at 13 by his single mother, leaving his twin brother behind. Abel struggled to learn English and often dreamed of moving back, but his twin urged him to persevere. Abel worked nights and weekends until he learned about the Dream U.S. Scholarship for undocumented students. With this support, Abel is graduating today with a 3.5 GPA, a degree in accounting, and a job in the nation's leading victim services organization. And students like Luisa Cuatl, who came to the U.S. with her family at the age 2, fleeing violence and poverty in Mexico. Her parents would say, "Tu educación nadie te la quita." No one can take away your education. However, education wasn't easy to afford for an undocumented student. Luisa worked 7 days a week at a grocery, a catering company, and finally for $2 more an hour at Chipotle to pay her Hunter tuition. Waking at 5 a.m. for a 15-hour day, she often dozed off in class with her grades plummeting. Recognizing her drive, Hunter stepped in and awarded Luisa a Grove Scholarship. She turned her grades around and created a club to support undocumented students called, appropriately, the Dream Team. Luisa graduates today with a 3.3 GPA and will care for the future by working for mental health care for immigrants. Congratulations, Luisa. And born to Korean parents who came to America when she was 4, Esther Rim aspired to be a Taekwondo champion. As her wins mounted, she seemed all but destined for the Olympics. But because of her undocumented status, she could not compete in the biggest tournaments. Undaunted, Esther focused on her studies instead and graduates today with a 3.86 GPA in Econ and Urban Studies and will go on to work at a nonprofit on housing issues. Esther joins Luisa in receiving the Grove Scholarships, one of the few funding sources for undocumented students. It's a special award Hunter can give thanks to the generosity of Eva Grove, an immigrant who graduated from Hunter in 1958. Now, Senator, just a few years ago, as you know, these students were living in the shadows. The DACA program brought them into the light, at least for the moment. They have invested in their American future, and Hunter has invested in them. To keep the dream alive for the future students, they've created a play called the Undocumonologues. Senator Schumer, in welcoming you and thanking you for your efforts to support the Dreamers in DACA, Abel, Esther, and Louisa would like to present you with a T-shirt from our show, The Undocumonologues, knowing you will continue to help them achieve their American dreams. Join me in welcoming Senator Chuck Schumer and thank him for all he has done for CUNY and for DACA students. Thank you.
Before I begin my speech, let me say these are wonderful Americans. The president wants to kick wonderful Americans like this out. Shame on him. It is great to be here. First, I want to thank President Raab. Hunter's an amazing school. And just to sit here and see so many of these great students go out into the world gives me, in all the difficulty we have, faith in our future. Let's have a round of applause for President Raab and the whole Hunter's faculty, staff, administrators, everybody. And now, to my speech. First, to the great class of 2018, Hunter, congratulations. And first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law that said you or your parents, whoever paid for college, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for every year of college and graduate school, provided, in Washington there's always a provided, provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid, takes that credit, because it's relatively new. Last year, about 25% of the people who were entitled to it didn't take it. If you forgot last year or the previous 3 years, you can file a simple form with the IRS and get a check of $7,500 back in the mail. Not bad. Now, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. My wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Jessica come up on the stage, get her diploma. It was one of the greatest days of our lives. You've done a great job as well. Congratulations to the moms and dads. Now, to this great, great class, you are graduating at a time of enormous change across the country, around the world. It's an era of profound economic change, profound social change. The world is moving so very fast. In the old days, you graduated from college and the odds were pretty high you'd have the same job or at least work in the same career for the next 40 years. That's not so true anymore. Most of you will have several jobs, many of you several careers. Along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at your fingertips that it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish between what's true and what isn't. Even around the world, there have been a lot of changes, many of them not for the better. When I graduated from college, words like terrorism, mass shootings were never heard of. So it's a changing and difficult world. But the good news is this. Your generation is better equipped to adapt to all of these new changes than any generation before you. For you, you've gotten a great education. Only about a third of young people your age will get a college degree, and yours is the very, very best. You have parents, families who will have your backs through thick and thin, and you're really the first generation to grow up totally familiar with all the new technology. You know, your parents, your teachers, me, the older generation, we try to get used to it, but it's hard for us. But you were born into it. You instinctively understand it. Technology is to your generation like water is to a fish. You've been swimming in it your whole lives. So, for all these reasons, you are better equipped to overcome the obstacles this new world presents, better equipped to seize the opportunities this new world affords, and better equipped to pursue your passions, dream big dreams, maybe even accomplish big things. Right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be sure what's going to come next. With so much of the world changing, it may feel sometimes like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is not to fear the unknown, not to fear change. As Vin Diesel said, embrace it, relish change, soak it up, and don't let one setback, no matter how big it seems, stand in your way. Because if you embrace change, don't let the fear of failure deter you, don't let setbacks throw you off, the odds are very, very high that you'll succeed. How do I know these things? Well, I experienced things like this myself. When I was seated at college graduation several decades back, I had just learned that I'd won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I was a kid from Brooklyn. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, I met a girl, and I fell in love. Aww. So I had to decide, class, do I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a whole year? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? What would you have done, class of 2018? President Raab, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap now, you romantic in the front row. The story continues. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. as soon as she got off the plane. I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. Hang it up, forget about it. You're never gonna make anything of yourself. Life's over. And in fact, I stayed in my house for a couple of months, moped around, felt sorry for myself, but somehow I overcame that setback, picked myself up, dusted myself off, and a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad that I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics. I told them my dream was to run for office, even though that seemed real hard. My parents, as you can imagine, were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I came from a working class family. My father was an exterminator, never went to college, never made much money. And the law firm was paying $400 a week, which was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for office, and so that I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party. And then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I sure didn't get that girl. But that November, I won the election. So, to this great class, and it is a great class, Hunter 2018, on this great day of your achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Don't let fear of failing deter you. For those of us who have gotten older and look back, some of the more painful moments are what I call the what-ifs. What if I had only done this? What if I had only gone there? So my advice to the class of 2018 is simple. Go for it. You're about to cast off into the unknown. Sometimes it can seem kind of scary. But you've got great assets, your education, your families, your familiarity with technology. So, garner up your courage, garner up your strength. Put aside your doubts, take a chance. And if you do, it is not only my hope, it's not only my prayer, it's indeed my confidence. You will find true success. Congratulations. Good luck. Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it. What a great job.
Thank you, our friend Chuck Schumer. Now, graduates, before we go on, there is one more group you can't forget to thank. Yourselves. You did the work, you took the tests, and you earned the grades to make it today. Now you're shining, so throw up your hands in the air and shake those pom-poms. I'm living my best life. I made a couple L's with my And now it is my pleasure to welcome from CUNY our Senior Vice Chancellor for Budget and Finance, Matt Sapienza. Now, students, faculty, and friends, we need a rousing round of applause for this Vice Chancellor. Matt Sapienza received his MBA from St. John's, has done so much to lead CUNY in financial management and innovation. As his title implies, he is the man with the money. Since 2004, when Matt joined CUNY, Matt has gone the extra mile to help make sure that Hunter gets its fair share and sometimes even a little more. Quite simply, he always goes the extra mile for us. To show our thanks for all of your support, Matt, and the extraordinary work you do at CUNY, 2 of our top accounting graduates have a work-related gift for you. Please welcome Jonah Sirachi and Suri Srilatha. Jonah came from Albania when she was 4 years old. Suri came from India when she was 15 and taught herself American English by watching Hannah Montana. Vice Chancellor Matt Sapienza, both young women in public service, as they showed by leading Hunter's volunteer efforts to help low-income New Yorkers file their tax returns. Jonah starts as an accountant at Price Waterhouse next week, and Suri will work at Deloitte as a tax expert. They have an oversized show the gift. It's a big calculator, yes. So let's give a round of applause and a thank you. We'll congratulate Jonah and Suri and say thank you, Matt Sapienza.
Hunter Hawks, how are we today? Thank you to President Rabb, and thank you for that calculator. I'm getting a little older, so if I forget my glasses, I'm definitely going to need that. So thank you. On behalf of Chancellor James Milliken and everyone at the City University of New York, congratulations to the Hunter College class of 2018. Let's hear it for them again. Now, graduates, I don't think that I have the hardest job at the university. As a matter of fact, I know I don't, but I have the hardest job today because I have to follow Senator Schumer. Isn't he great? Let's hear it for Senator Schumer again. We're very fortunate to have him fighting for us. I'm so very proud to be here today representing CUNY, a university that has lifted generations of families, educated millions of people, and a place where our diversity is our strength. This is a special day for Hunter College and the entire university. Graduates, I know you're feeling many emotions today: pride, happiness, relief. You're probably feeling a little anxiety this moment, wondering how long this guy's going to be talking for. I promise to be brief. But another emotion that I know that you and your family are feeling today is gratitude. Gratitude for your hard work and success and the tremendous accomplishments that we are all celebrating here today. So let me take a few minutes to talk about some of the things that I am grateful for today. I'm grateful for the tremendous leadership that we have at the university with our Board of Trustees, and especially Trustee Ken Sunshine, so let's hear it for him. Thank you, Trustee Sunshine. I am very grateful for the extremely talented and dedicated faculty at Hunter College. Their mentorship and guidance has helped to put you on the path of success, so let's hear it for the faculty at Hunter College. They are the best. And I am truly grateful that for the past 17 years, the university has had an outstanding leader serve as the president of Hunter College, President Jennifer Rabb. President Rabb is a fierce advocate for her students, from the Hunter College elementary and high school students all the way to the doctoral students, and is without a doubt the hardest working college president in the entire country. Let's hear it for her. We are very fortunate for her strong leadership of this jewel in the university system, Hunter College. Most importantly, however, I am grateful for you, graduates. You embody what CUNY and Hunter College are all about, giving opportunity to students that are talented, dedicated, and relentless in its pursuits. You've made our university better by your presence, and I have no doubt that our society will continue to benefit from your positive contributions. Now that you will be alumni, I ask that you always stay close to Hunter College and remain part of the Hunter family that President Rabb spoke about earlier. You are an inspiration to those coming behind you, your brothers and sisters, your little cousin, that kid who lives down the hall in your building. Always remember those special people, many of whom are here with us today, who pushed you and supported you in pursuit of your degree, and continue to pay it forward to future generations. Please keep in mind that success is not a marathon or a sprint, but rather a relay race. The baton is now in your hands, so run proud and strong and never lose belief in yourself. Graduates, you're amazing and inspirational, and I am very grateful that I was able to share in your special day today. Thanks so much.
is time for the class of 2018 valedictorian address. However, there's one small, wonderful problem. We have 6 valedictorians. Not even Hunter's renowned accounting department, and we have a lot of accountants here, could find a way to break a 6-way 4.0 GPA tie. And so we asked the valedictorians to vote on who should deliver the speech. Certainly, any of them could have spoken about how today is the culmination of a dream. Sabrina Suleiman is the youngest of 4 girls. Her parents are Palestinian immigrants who came to the United States with no college education. Now Sabrina is a valedictorian and will work to get her JD PhD and work on water rights in conflict areas. Flavia Tamari's family arrived in America when she was 6 from Albania, fleeing financial crisis. In Flavia's mind, college was just the path to a good job. But once at Hunter, she realized her passion for learning, with experience as diverse as an archaeological dig in Greece, even though she's a psychology major. Flavia graduates with about 30 extra credits and still a perfect GPA. It's pretty great. She will go on to help women and children in poverty around the world. And then there is our Edward Friedman. As Edward Friedman says, almost every day to people who see his walker or the braces on his legs and ask, "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing is wrong," he says. "Nothing is wrong with me. But if you want to talk about my disability and why I think it's a positive part of my identity, then that's great." Edward believes the world has to change. Edward believes the world has to change to become accessible to everyone, and making that happen is Edward's goal. He is already working full-time in the mayor's office for people with disabilities, coordinating with the Taxi and Limousine Commission. If an accessible cab passes up a person with a disability, they've got to deal with Edward. As the commissioner of the Office of People with Disabilities told Mayor de Blasio recently, Edward is going to be the next mayor, to which the mayor replied, "I hope to break down barriers for all New Yorkers," and we're so proud, Edward. Marie Mazzio grew up playing stickball in Brooklyn, and so did her twin brother, Michael. In high school, she was obsessed by sports, and so was her twin brother, Michael. She came to Hunter, and guess what? Guess who else did? Michael. And they both became biochemistry majors. And when they heard that Dr. Frida Kleinman needed an undergraduate researcher in her microbiology lab, they had a suggestion for her. How about the 2 of us? But of course, Marie and Mike do have some differences. They chose slightly different minors, although both were at Roosevelt House. Still, for many classes at Hunter, Michael and Marie were each other's study partners. Michael admits it was his sister who pushed him. If they went over the material 3 or 4 times and he was ready to call it a night, she made him sit down and go through it again. Whatever the dynamic, it worked. 2 twin valedictorians. Now Marie, who won a prestigious McNulty Fellowship, is about to spend a year at Albert Einstein College of Medicine researching tuberculosis, while Michael spends a year of teaching English in a Fulbright scholarship in Spain, doing public health research on the side. After that, they will both attend medical school, and I think we can guess who they're going to study with for the MCATs. Congratulations to the Mazzios. In an ultra-religious Jewish household, Raquel Hecht always thought she would end up a lot like her mom, having a lot of kids. She has 12 siblings, and spreading the word of God. Her school taught her only the holy books, but Raquel got older, she started brimming with questions she couldn't even ask without sounding like an atheist. In the summer, she looked up at the stars, worrying she would never learn the truth about the universe. Friends told her if she went to seminary in Jerusalem, she'd find the answers there. But there she found herself filling journals with questions that the learned rabbis couldn't answer. When she came back at 21 and it was time for her parents to find her a match, she was desperate. How could she answer her own children's questions if she's never gotten answers that made any sense to her? Through the grapevine, Raquel heard about Footsteps, the organization started here at Hunter that helps people leave ultra-orthodoxy if they want a different life. She enrolled at Hunter, took her first physics course, and it was, Raquel says, like paradise. At last she had answers, but even more exciting, she was encouraged to ask questions and to experiment. Raquel, who had never stepped foot in a lab before she came to Hunter, now leaves for a fellowship at the National Institute of Health, where she will be researching cancer before she goes on to her MD PhD. It is a pleasure to welcome Raquel Hecht, a young woman who never expected to go to college, to deliver your valedictorian address. Raquel.
Good afternoon. Welcome, President Rabb, distinguished guests and honorees, faculty, family, friends, and my fellow Hunter graduates. One of the most inspiring things about Hunter College is that its student body is comprised of talented and courageous people of every age, culture, and demographic. Many people in this room have defied the odds in some way to be here today. So congratulations, classmates. We've earned this. Growing up, college was never something I even dreamt about attending. The ultra-Orthodox Hasidic community I grew up in simply did not allow it. Besides, I knew with certainty that I would become a religious missionary and a rabbi's wife. So who needed college anyway? But life has a funny way of serving us the unexpected. And at the age of 21, after a period of intense introspection, I was taking the SAT and applying to Hunter. I had no idea what physics was before I got to college. But in my second semester, to satisfy a requirement, I took a course called Conceptual Physics. It was thrilling to learn how the world around me worked. For instance, how steel boats could float, why there were 3 prongs in an outlet, or why the sky changes colors at sunset. It was also thrilling to experience an educational environment where questions were welcomed and diverse thought encouraged. While people tend to think of education as a right, it's unfortunately still a privilege for many, and I felt so grateful that we had the opportunity at Hunter to learn and to question freely. By the end of that semester, I had declared a major in physics, and shortly thereafter aimed to become an MD PhD. As exhilarating as it was to be introduced to so many new disciplines, there was also a steep learning curve. Like many students, I could not help but feel overwhelmed by how much I did not know. Every time a professor would say, "You remember when you learned in high school?" I would be amazed and think, wait, people learn this in high school? Yet the faculty and programs at Hunter taught us that a baby step toward progress was still progress, and that each small step was an achievement worth celebrating. The leader of the Chabad Hasidic sect, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, was quite fond of saying, if you know Aleph, which is just the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, teach Aleph. His point being twofold. One, you don't need to be an expert to convey knowledge. You just need one extra detail. If you can pass on that information so that another's life can be enhanced, you've just made a notable difference. And two, the education we receive is not just an invaluable gift, but also a mantle of responsibility. Hunter helped us recognize that we did not need to know all of math to assist at its STEM Learning Center. We just needed to know pre-calculus. We did not need to be a doctor to be a pre-health mentor. We just needed the desire to help others. Likewise, we did not need to be a professional physicist to contribute in a physics lab. We just needed to be eager to learn from the outstanding role models already researching there. The very fact that we are graduating today means we all know a version of Aleph. But the benefit of our collective intellectual growth is limited if it does not help make the world a better place. So now that we know Aleph, let's pass it on by applying our education to aid our families, friends, and communities. The Talmud, which is the comprehensive body of Jewish law, implies that educating another is akin to granting that person life itself. This holds special meaning for me today, as Hunter is a place where many of us were reborn through education, where we were granted the ability to redefine ourselves, and where we found new purpose. My professors, mentors, and peers have opened my mind and heart to both a literal and metaphorical universe I had not known existed. I could not be more thankful to them for their patience, their guidance, and their encouragement. I'd also like to acknowledge Hunter, Footsteps, and the generous scholarships that have enabled individuals like me to manage the expenses of college without living on the streets. To the friends, families, and supporters who have cheered us on through the happy times and the challenging times, you guys are the best. And to the class of 2018, we have had a most memorable undergraduate experience. Thank you and congratulations.
Wow, a beautiful speech, and we're so proud of Raquel's work and all our valedictorians. And now to represent all of our graduates and present the class gift are 5 outstanding community builders. A resident assistant at Brookdale for 3 years, Ellie Bergen also represented Hunter as a student ambassador, and on the side was selected to be a vibraphonist in New York State's all-jazz band. Twice. She will go on to get her master's in psychology. Sharing good Hunter vibes is Saim Siddiqui, who served as vice president of our student government and president of the Muslim Students Association. As a Macaulay Scholar, he will care for the community by becoming a doctor. Following in his footsteps is Faith Titilao, who hopes to attend medical school too. The daughter of Nigerian immigrants, Faith became president of Glamour Girls, which provides free makeovers to elderly women in the community. Raul Franco found his community here too, the Black Male Initiative. Now he's leading their community service outreach, and medical school is his goal as well. With them and representing all of the student body is Nicholas Fuchs, a Hunter Macaulay Scholar and the president of Hunter's student government. Nick will continue his legislative career by going on to law school. But first, on behalf of Ellie, Saim, Faith, Raul, and the winter class of 2018, Nick is delighted to present the class gift to Ruth Newman of the Hunter College Foundation Board. The foundation provides all of the scholarships our students have spoken about. Ruth, we could not be more grateful for your work. Please stand and take a bow. And Ruth, 2 of your students that you've personally mentored in running our mentoring program, Emily Lau and Sapna Punj, are here with just a special personal thank you to you for everything you've done. So, okay, Nick.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Fuchs, and I'm a member of Hunter's wonderful graduating class of 2018. This year, I've had the amazing opportunity to serve as the undergraduate student government president, working with some of the brightest minds I've ever met in my entire life, looking at you, Saim, Negi, Tony, Yasin, Intizar. For many of us, the road to commencement has been filled with carefully navigated twists and turns, and today we are asked to reconcile our academic success with our future. To do this, we need to consider what our time here at Hunter has meant for us. For many of us, college was always about the resources and the opportunities that would be provided to us. But as graduates, I challenge you all to change that perspective. Perhaps instead, now that we're graduating, it's more about what we can contribute as such a successful and diverse class to making sure that this college continues to be successful and to inspire students just like us. It's time for all of us to step up and give back. It's time for us to give back to the institution that inspired us to become successful actors, to become lawyers, doctors, and prepared us to be the professionals that we've worked so hard to become. Each year, the graduating class raises money to go towards a legacy gift. This year, I'm happy to announce that every dollar raised by the graduating class will go towards mobile printing stations. In addition, I think it's important to recognize that the number of contributions determine our college ranking, so no gift is too small. Every gift increases the value of a Hunter College diploma. There's still time to beat last year's record, so let's show them what we can do. At this time, if you haven't already, or if they're not in your pockets or on your laps, can everyone please take out their cell phone? If you text the word Hunter to 56512, you will donate $10 to the Class of 2018 Legacy Gift. You should see this information on the screens behind me, to the side of me. You can text to donate throughout the next few days. Please remember that an investment back into the school will actually strengthen our degree and help our future students. So President Rabb, on behalf of the Class of 2018, we would like to present Hunter College with a check in the amount of $12,000. Thank you all so much for supporting this year's Legacy Gift. I wish every graduate the best of luck in all future endeavors, and I encourage everyone to use their degree daringly and create your own successful path. Thank you, and congratulations to the Class of 2018.
So graduates, it sometimes seems like getting to this point of graduation took forever, but for some of you, it actually did. Andrea Emanuel grew up in Grenada, where her mother left her when she was 3, and the family was so poor she owned just one pair of shoes. When these became tattered to wear, her relatives bought her another pair on credit. Eventually, Andrea made it to New York. She wanted to go to college, but she was working and still didn't have a high school degree. It got harder when her daughter was born with autism. In the few hours a week her home health came to assist the child, Andrea struck out to get her GED. At last, she started college in 2008, but this was in between working full-time at daycare and nursing her sick father. Even with the help of some kindly mentors who found scholarships for her, it wasn't easy. But today, just as she's about to turn 48, Andrea graduates with a degree in English literature, a GPA of 3.96 after 10 years in college. So Andrea, it was worth it. Graduates, when you look at your Facebook pictures from the past 4 or 5 or maybe 6 years, you'll see friends you grew to love, late nights you grew to accept, some terrible food you felt compelled to record, and in the background of them all, the college you are going to cherish for the rest of your life. A college that asked more of you and gave more to you than you could possibly have expected that first day when you were still trying to figure out why you enter a building on the west side of the street to go to a building on the east side of the street. Salute that old, young you in the 2014 Facebook post. That's the determined young student who set you on your path to this day, this ceremony, and this new life that starts today. You can finally change your Hunter status on Facebook to Hunter Alum. And if you have to, ignore the haircut. In about 27 years, it'll be back in fashion. And now we are proud to recognize those students who have completed their coursework with exceptional academic records. Provost Lon Kaufman, please come to the podium.
In addition to your valedictorian, there are other graduating students who merit very special recognition for their academic achievements. Will the members of the following groups please stand? Salutatorians. Candidates who will be graduated cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude, and members of Phi Beta Kappa. Congratulations all. Please be seated. At this time, I am going to call the deans of Hunter's 4 schools who have some special words for their own graduates. First, Dean Michael Middleton from the School of Education.
Will the candidates for all degrees from the School of Education please stand? On behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Education, I want to congratulate you on your remarkable achievement. I also want to extend my congratulations and appreciation to your family and friends who've made this moment possible. As you know, Hunter College began as a normal school to educate teachers. Our founder, Thomas Hunter, had a strong commitment to providing access to all qualified women, irrespective of social class, religion, and ethnicity. He also aspired to improve the teaching profession through rigorous preparation of educators. As a graduating class, you embody those aspirations. You have received instruction from our world-class faculty members, studied with peers who brought a richness of perspectives and experiences to your classes, and participated in placements in schools and community agencies to guide you to meet the challenges of your future work. Today signifies your preparation for the next step in your professional life. As teachers, counselors, and school leaders, you've chosen a profession that makes a difference in the lives of individuals, families, and communities. You're in a position to contribute to our democratic ideal of a more informed citizenry and to strengthen our country's workforce. You enter the profession at a time with great complexity, with increasing economic, racial, and linguistic diversity in our city. I hope you see that diversity as an asset in our society that informs your work and the goals of equity and excellence. The impact of teachers, counselors, and administrators is immeasurable. Over your career, you will have the opportunity to touch the lives of hundreds of people as you teach, guide, mentor, encourage, and congratulate them. In his book, Democracy in Education, John Dewey wrote, "Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not preparation for life, but is life itself." My hope for you is that you will approach your new professional role with the ideal of making a difference and valuing the strengths of each of your students brings as you guide them in their education and their life. Congratulations.
And now, Gail McCain of the Schools of Nursing, Health Professions, and Urban Public Health.
Will the graduates from the School of Nursing and the School of Health Professions please stand? Warmest congratulations to you as you embark on new careers in healthcare. Some of you will provide direct care for patients during illness, recovery, and at end of life. And some of you will work to promote health and prevent illness at the population level. Parents, you will be glad to know that your graduates' talent and Hunter College diploma will guarantee them a job in healthcare, because healthcare has some of the fastest growing occupations today, including registered nurses, nurse practitioners, and physical therapists. But practicing as a healthcare professional is more than just a job. It is a commitment to service. And our service as healthcare professionals today is challenged by political and socioeconomic issues that affect the health of our city and nation, including access to healthcare, high rates of infant mortality, a rising maternal death rate, chronic illnesses, an opioid epidemic, veterans returning from war, and an aging and more diverse population than ever. We need generalist nurses, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, speech-language pathologists, nutritionists, health educators, and public health workers to address all of these health problems. So I wish all of you much success in your health careers. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Dean Mary Kavanaugh from the School of Social Work.
Will the candidates for all degrees from the Silberman School of Social Work please rise? Graduates, the path of a social worker is not an easy one. You have chosen the profession of social work in order to support the most vulnerable in our society. There is no greater satisfaction than knowing you will make a profound impact on the people and communities with the greatest needs. As social workers, educated and trained at the Silberman School of Social Work, you are now uniquely equipped to have that impact. You possess tools and professional policy and research to most effectively meet the needs of local, national, and global communities. You are joining a profession that has, from its very beginnings, rested on rigorous inquiry into the complexities and opportunities that define the human experience. I am proud to say today that each of you will be furthering that tradition as alumni of the Silberman School of Social Work at Hunter College. Finally, I am so very excited to highlight that included among you this year are our inaugural cohort of graduates holding the Bachelor's of Social Work degree. Launched in fall of 2016, our Bachelor of Social Work program partners with the Hunter College School of Arts and Sciences to provide outstanding Hunter undergraduates the academic and professional education they need to begin their crucially important social work careers. Many of this year's BSW graduates have already been accepted into MSW advanced standing programs, and the remaining graduates have already accepted or will be accepting excellent jobs in care coordination and in child welfare. On behalf of the faculty, administration, and staff of the Hunter College School of Social Work, we proudly confer the Master of Social Work degree and the Bachelor of Social Work degree to our extraordinary graduates. Congratulations.
Would Andy Polsky, Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, please come forward?
Will the candidates for all degrees from the School of Arts and Sciences please stand? Congratulations. I have some good news for you. We're almost done here. Soon you'll be headed off for a wonderful dinner celebration with friends or families or both. Enjoy it, you've earned it. By the way, I happen to be free this evening, so just... I want to share two thoughts with you. We live in times that test us if we choose to express ourselves in public on sensitive issues. I am sure you've heard the phrase, "speak truth to power." This has become more difficult and indeed more dangerous today. People are willing, no, actually eager, to take offense at ideas they don't like. If you decide to take a public stand, you risk direct, vicious personal attacks, even threats. Women and people of color, in particular, have been singled out. It's likely, too, that the outrage machine will call on your employer to fire you. Happily, this machine has a short attention span. But thanks to the internet, the controversy is going to follow you, turning up any time somebody searches you on Google. So you're going to need both the courage to take a stand and the resilience to cope with the aftermath. I hope you've developed both qualities in your time at Hunter. The second point I want to make, there's another challenge you face when you try to speak truth to power. You have to figure out how to make power listen. That's what a change agent does. Courage and resilience won't be enough. You're going to need people skills, how to collaborate and contribute to a team, hear what others are saying or signaling, and feel empathy for those with whom you disagree. Above all, you have to be able to persuade the person above you in your organization to make the right ethical decision. I know it's common at a commencement ceremony to tell graduates to be leaders, and someday I hope you are. But you also need to be constructive and morally engaged followers, because it's the followers who make power listen. Thank you, and please take your seats.
And now I would ask Thomas DeGloma, chairperson of the Hunter College Senate, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Provost Kaufman. I am delighted to have this task. The representatives of the faculty and the students in the Senate have authorized me to deliver the names of the individuals who have been approved as candidates for degrees and certificates.
Thank you, Tom. President Rabb, I now have the honor to certify that the candidates have satisfied all requirements, and I now ask that you confer upon them their degrees and certificates.
Okay. So first I'm going to ask Dr. Diesel to stand with me to help confer degrees, because that will be a graduation you'll never forget. So now, for the moment you have all worked so hard for, will candidates for degrees and certificates please stand one more time? Everyone. You're smart. You can do this. With the authority granted by the Charter of the State of New York to the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York and delegated to me, I confer upon you the bachelor's degrees, the master's degrees, the doctorate degrees and certificates you have earned with the rights and privileges and responsibilities which accompany them. Congratulations, you are graduates.
Class of Hunter College graduates. Please have a wonderful time this evening with your family. Congratulations to all.